Good evening and welcome to the Temple of Speed. This is DTCC Season 8 round... Season 8? Yeah, Season 8 round 8. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Yes, but it's coming through okay. I hope everyone's doing well on this another crazy stormy evening in England. Across the whole of the UK, probably. So, the final round of the season. If you're in the chat, say hi. Daz is in the chat. Evening, Daz. Daz is keenly watching what he unfortunately missed out on, I'm sure. We're going to spend a little bit of time looking at the cars tonight because they look amazing. James saying good evening. Good evening. Right, so as is pretty much the norm, I think, for every season we've done, the final race of the season is the endurance round, which is tonight a 45-minute straight race in the F1500T. My mum Sykes. Hello, Dad. Hope you're both well. Right, so again, another first for DTCC this season is the F1500Ts, which are based on the probably mid to late 80s F1 cars. So you will see in the all the liveries, the stipulation was the liveries must be from the turbo years, so 1977 to 1988. Drivers have either made their own liveries or downloaded them, all from that period. It was stunning. I had heard the car is based on the Lotus 87 version, which would have been the Lotus 88, I think. Right, so it's a straight race, 45 minutes plus a lap around the famous Monza, and this is the famous Monza pit straight. So let's have a quick walk around, shall we? So as per usual rules, top 5 in qualifying, start at the back in reverse order. So 6th fastest in qualifying was, now this is one I'm going to have to guess. This is James, I think, because I've got no idea what cars they ran. I think this is James in his 1987 Lotus, I think. So that's probably quite a good period car, that one, because that's probably pretty much the car that it was based on. So there's James on pole. It is James because he's got going on his helmet. There you go. Good giveaway. So he's on pole. Then second on the grid, which I think is probably his highest grid position. I'm sure Silverstar will correct me, but in his 1982 Ferrari, so based on the Gilles Villeneuve Ferrari from 1982, one of the best and one of the worst seasons ever in Formula One. So he's second on the grid in his Ferrari. We're going to take some time on these cars because they all look amazing. And third on the grid is Spunkmeyer in his 1985 McLaren, based on Alain Prost's 85 McLaren. Querying what year that was, and I should know because I did the livery. Looking very splendid. And then fourth on the grid is Wayne in his, I think it's 1981 Ligier, driven by Jacques Lafitte. Look at that, that's a pearler, that one. I think that was a downloaded one, but looks amazing. So that was his 81 Ligier. He's fourth on the grid. You see it's a rolling start, that's why they're not in grid order. And then fifth is Sam Skipster in his 1983 Alain Prost Renault. Looking very nice. Another downloaded one. I'm going to lose track here. I think this is sixth. This is Carly in her 1987 Benetton and winner of the Livery of the Round Award. Very nice. That's driven by Thierry Boutsen and I think Teo Farby. Then I think eighth on the grid, lost count now, is Jim in his 1984 Tolman, the first of two we've got, as driven by Ayrton Senna. Very nice. Senna's first F1 car. Then I think probably 8th or 9th is Mike in his 1981 Arrows. And Mike, if I could give a bonus point, I really should, because he's also got the period helmet. So that's Ricardo Patrese' helmet, who drove this car in 1981. Original as well by Mike. Look at that. Even got all the old 80s maths book grid on the side pos. Love that one. Then I think probably 10th lost track is Dan in. So I think we're into the so we're into the fastest 5 now. So Dan was 5th quickest in his 1984 Benetton. That's driven by Eddie Shiva and again Ricardo Patrese. So we've got 2 Patrese cars on the track. I tell you, that took me hours, that one, to get that green matched. Sad as I am. Then 4th fastest in qualifying is Alex in his 1986 Beatrice. That's driven by Alan Jones and Patrick Tombay. I'm sure people will correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm doing this from memory. And this is the Team Haas, which is not to be confused with the Haas F1 team of the moment. So he's 4th quickest, so around 11th, no 10th, 11th, yeah 10th. Then 3rd fastest in qualifying was Chris in his 1983 Alpha, as driven by Andrea De Cesaris and Bruno Giacomelli, I think. And more bonus points for Chris. Look at that, he's got the right helmet. Andrea De Cesaris' helmet. Then 2nd quickest in qualifying, so 12th on the grid, is Matt in his Stefan Beloff 1984 Tyrrell. And then 13th on the grid, fastest in the other Tolman. So again, 1984, Senna's first car. I think driven by Stefan Johansson as well, I think. Here's Chris Pengelly, our championship winner. So that is the grid. As you can see, they look amazing. I can't go off to walk all the way. The grid is a long way down. It's a rolling start. Right, so it is 31 laps of a Monza. So the only tyre rule tonight is they must use hards at some point. So it's a free choice for tyres, but the drivers must use hards for at least one racing lap. So they must cross the finish. They must cross the start line with hards on, but not in the pits at the end of the race. Very confusing. Right, so 31 laps. Here we go. Rolling start, as I said, and we'll see how the tyres play out. You'll see a bit of weird ghosting. We've got ghosting on tonight because of the potential carnage, and what it means is the cars are going to disappear into the first chicane because they go so slowly. But so James leads us across the start finish lines. We watch all the cars heading to the first chicane. It looks like, oh, Silverstar's a bit late on the brakes. I think he's gone a bit wide and they will start ghosting. It looks like so Spellbuyer's got a good start there in the McLaren. He's got through. You see this weird ghosting. Oh, who's that gone wide? Oh, James has gone a bit wide. And then we've got a few abreast as we go through the Curva Grande for the first time. And look at this, we've got a whole gang of cars led by Mike and Alex as we go into the Variante del Roger. It looks like there's been some carnage there. Looks like Matt's got stuck. Let's see what happened to Matt. Matt's had a dreadful start. Let's see what happened with Matt as we come through the Curva Grande. We've got a good run out of that first chicane into the second chicane. Oh, he just brakes a bit too late. In fact, not even a bit too late. He gets well too late. Takes Mike out. Mike unfortunately gets stuck as well. But look at that. Matt's spinning his wheels, and he's well and truly redressed that one. So yeah, Mum says, oh dear. Yes, that's a bit of brain fade on Matt's part, that one. Right, so Spunkmeyer leads us out of a second Lesmos, and it looks like we've got Wayne and Silverstar having a battle. Ligier on Ferrari. Looks like the Ferrari's got into the Ascari chicane. Oh, look at this. All to wheel. Whoa. Silverstar car's been wide. Let's see, was there any... Let's have a quick look from Wayne's perspective. I can't change the views. Ah, I've taken the... Right, remember that, because I fixed my wheel. I can't look left and right. Oh yeah, there was a little bit of a battle though. A little touch of wheels, but... So, Wayne stays up to... Wayne's down to fourth now. Oh, he's redressing. Look at that. That's mega. I think he's redressing. We'd like to see that. So, Spunmeier's got a clear lead. Skips us up to second, and then Chris from the 13th is already up to third. Look at that. So, gained 10 places in the first lap. So Chris is now up to fourth as well, so he's gained out of all that carnage first couple of chicanes. Alex is in fifth, and he's got James right behind him as we go down the pit straight, side by side into, look at that, what a classic view that is, into the first chicane. Nice move by James. Very clean, but looks like Alex is going, oh, there's a bit of a nudge there from Alex, but Alex is redressed, so that's allowed Dan to escape. And further back then, we've got Jim is in 8th, Matt has recovered up to 9th already from 13th, Mike has dropped down to 10th after he was assaulted by Matt, Carly's in 11th, Silverstar is in 12th after his little nerf with Wayne, and then Wayne is in 13th. These cars are really tricky to drive. They've got a really weird torque curve, so you'll see the drivers short shifting very early into the higher gears. Chris is now up to second. Skipster has now got the Alpha right behind him. James saying, Christian saying hi Christian. James saying liveries are ace, yes they are. So Chris is up to second. Skipster is now defending from Chris. You see this weird ghosting thing. I don't know why he ghosted there. Let's see if there's any other battles. Dan's managed to get his a bit clear in fifth. James is up to sixth. And we've got Alex and Matt. So Beatrice versus Tyrrell. Is that Matt going to make a move? He is. So Alex is on the hards, Matt's on the mediums. So we'll try and do a run down the tyres. Matt runs a bit wide though, coming out of Parabolica. But Alex is already in, so he's decided to get rid of those hards really quickly and early. That pushes, promotes Jim up to 8th and pushes Mike up to 9th. Carly in 10th. And then Silverstein 11th, and when's Alex going to come out? He's fueling, so he's full. He's probably going to go on the mediums, I would imagine. There we go. And Wayne is down to 13th. Right, so we got a move for the lead. Here comes Chris on the other Christian. Nicely done into first chicane. I'll get these names right because we don't want to call it a first chicane, do we? We want to call it. Where's my mouse gone? Come on, mouse. We want to call it the Variante del Rettifiglio and then into Variante della Roggia. Oh, Italian names just sound amazing. Right, so Chris is away in first. Then we've got Spunmeyer into second. Chris chasing him down the other Marlborough sponsored Alpha. He's in third. Skipster is now in fourth. I'm supposed to say lovely cars here, look amazing today. So Skipster's doing a great job in fourth on his hards as well. Dan is in fifth. So Skipster is doing a 32.0, which is pretty much the same pace as Dan on his medium. So Skipster's doing a great job in fourth so far. So Dan's in fifth. He's got James in sixth. And Matt trying to make up lost time in seventh. And then we've got what we've got behind. We've got a battle going on here. So Carly and Silverstar. Silverstar catching the Benetton. So Ferrari versus Benetton. We come into the Variante Ascari. Is that going to give Silverstar? I think Silverstar's probably going to roll. Oh no, he ran a bit wide. We thought that might be going. He went in a bit deep into Ascari and he's run a bit wide. So Alex is going to come out into 11th place as Silverstar recovers. We don't want to focus on that too much. So Chris is out in the lead, just done a 27.6, so uber quick already on his mediums. Spunmeyer is, the Alpha's catching. Spunmeyer did a 32, a little bit of a mistake obviously that lap, and he's got Chris now right behind him, he's in the 29s. Go on board with Chris, we go into the second chicane. Oh, we thought about making a move to Variante della Roggia. Nothing behind us. Into Lesmo 1. These cars are not particularly quick around the corners, but they're super quick down the straight. Oh, Chris Floorbound moves as we go into Lesmo 2. Let's just see if there's anything else going on. Oh yeah, Matt is right behind Dan as well. So let's just see if anything occurs between these two as we come out of Ascari. Ascari out of Lesmo, so nothing between those two out of Ascari. Is Matt going to make a move into the Ascari chicane? No, he doesn't. Let's see what's going on with Chris. So Chris is right behind that McLaren as we come into Parabolica. Can he go around the long way around? That'd be brave through the outside. Oh, he does. Sweeps around the outside. Nice move there by Chris. So Matt looks like he's going to get past Dan. He does. So Tyrrell is up to 5th after being at the back. Spunkmeyer has decided to ditch his hard, so getting rid of his hards nice and early as well. Interesting. So you can see already different strategies. Chris is away though, he's just done another 27.4, so another fastest lap. The other Chris is in 2nd. Now, I'll probably run through the scores in a bit more detail, but we've got some interest here. So between Spunkmeyer and Chris is a battle for 3rd in the championship. And there is only on drop scores, I think 16 points between them. Let's have a look. 15 points between them, and as tonight is a single endurance race, effectively it's the combined points of the Group 4s and the Group 3 normal races together. So lots of points on offer tonight, so we'll keep an eye on that. Skipster is still doing a mega job in 3rd on his hards as well, so setting some cracking lap times on these hards on the Renault. Matt is up to 4th, Danny's 5th. Here comes James in 6th, being chased down by Mike in the Arrows in 7th. A bit misty Monza tonight. Sun's gone in, and then 8th is Jim in his Tolman. Then comes Spunkmeyer, who's now come out on softs. So Spunkmeyer thinks he can get the softs to last. The tyre wear is quite high here, but obviously being Monza, it's not as high as it would be a lot of tracks. So Spunkmeyer seeing if he can do a stint on softs. He's up to 9th, so we'll keep an eye on his lap times. Carly is in 10th and has passed in the pits Alex, who's now on mediums, so we'll see what lap times he can do. Silver Star recovering from his shenanigans on lap 3. He is on mediums, and Wayne is also on mediums. Right, so at the front we have Chris, who's doing regular mid-27s. Although Chris is now in the 27s as well, 27.9 from him. Another respected tyre wear going. Yeah, Chris is a bit hard on his rears, and he's gone purple for this lap as well. He's in 4th very early through the chicane. That's very early. Let's see what Chris, yeah, Chris knocks it down to 3rd, and then goes into 4th. It's interesting, Chris though is taking the Scarish in 4th. Sam meantime goes out of 2nd. Matt is in 4th, chasing him down, did a 28.9. Sam did a 30.7, Sam's on the hards. So Matt is trying to close on him. Let's see what's going on through the chicane. No, nothing that close. Let's go to 3rd then. Looks like Sam has got Matt behind him. Matt chases him down. Here is the view, and you can see we're at 210, 215 mile an hour. We're going to hit 220, 222 as we come onto the brakes. Well, Matt thinks about it, but no, not quite. Sam runs a little bit wide. As we go from the rear wing of the Renault. Here comes that Tyrrell, and on gear change, Matt changed up very early, and what it does, it means you get back on the torque curve really quickly. So Matt is up to 3rd. Can Sam do anything? I'd be surprised. He's doing a great job in his hards though, bearing in mind none of the drivers in front of him have used hards as yet. So Sam obviously liking the high downforce, sort of high downforce-ish but very sketchy mid-80s turbo cars. Turbo lag obviously suits him. Alright, how's Dan doing? Dan is PB, 30.6. He's on his mediums. So is James, 31.0. There's Mike on his halves with a 31.3, so Mike's setting some good lap times as well. Another one trying to get rid of his halves good and early. Go through the Varianti Ascari. Got a battle behind. Spunkmeyer has passed Jim, so Spunkmeyer's just done his personal best, 29.8 on his softs, so got those good and warm now. Half tank of fuel. Across the line he goes. Let's just see what I think he was probably passing Jim. No, he's at 29.9, so pretty consistent stuff from him. There's Jim on his mediums. It's very hard to be consistent in these cars. You can see they brake at about the 4 mile mark into the first corner. You've got to be dead on, otherwise you go wide. So Alex in one of my favourite looking cars, the Beatrice Haas, powered by Ford. So he's in 10th. He had an early stop, don't forget, those ditch those hard, so we'll see how that works out for him. There's Carly in the Benetton. 34.5, but on hards as well, so Carly's trying to get rid of the hards nice and early as well. We go into the second chicane. Varianti della Roggia gives the curbs a nice wide berth. Here comes Silverstar in the Ferrari. It's home track. Very nicely through the chicane. It's driven by Villeneuve, Didier Pironi, Patrick Tombe, Mario Andretti that year. And then Wayne in his Ligier. Just look at the cars, they look amazing. Driven by, again, I think Patrick Tombe and Jacques Lafitte in 1981. So up the front, Chris is now fed up with the 27, so he's decided to lap in the 26s. Tyres starting to go a bit. Still piling on the power through the rears. Chris has just done his PB, another 27.9, so lovely consistent. Look at that. Lap 3 to lap 8 within 4 tenths. And given these cars are tricky, that's very nice consistency. Matt is slowly getting quicker. He's up to the 28.2 now, so still 3 tenths off Chris. We'll see how that gap plays out. That's an alert, 107. Yeah, about 10 seconds between them. Matt on the PB as he goes through a Varianti della Roggia, and we've got some breaking news in the world of DTCC Season 9. Dan has just submitted his choice and he's going Nissan. Good choice. 2 good solid cars in Nissan, so you heard it here first. Live on air, Dan has decided to go with Nissan. And who's up next? So, Daz, you're up. You've got till tomorrow night to choose your car. So, just explain that. The draft picks for Season 9 are live at the moment. We're just over halfway. So the drivers pick their cars for next season's Group 3 and Group 4s in reverse order of the average points scored per round of this season that you're watching now. So, Daz is number 9 to pick. Still some interesting cars left. So, back to this race. Skipster is still doing a grand job on his hards. Still in 4th. He's been slowly caught by James, who's obviously is loving these cars as well, who's been slowly caught by Mike, who's doing a brilliant job on his hards. He'd be even further up if he wasn't battered into by Matt in the second chicane. So he's doing mid to low 30s, and both being caught by Spunkmeyer, who's in the 29s, and Dan has dropped down to 8th. We didn't see that, but he had one. He only dropped 3 or 4 seconds. You show how tight this bunch is. He's dropped 4 places, I think, from one small mistake. So you can see James in 5th. Here we go, what a shot that is. Then Mike, and Spunkmeyer, then Dan. Not that far behind them is Jim. And then Alex, who's already stopped, is catching all of them, doing 28s now on his medium. So that's a good, strong lap time on the medium as well, 28. So we're keeping an eye on this group. In fact, they're all catching skips as well. So we're already 11 laps into this race. Doing sort of mid to high 22nd laps, which is not that far off how fast they lap now. I think the overall lap record this track is a 121. Done by Rubens Barrichello, apparently. So these cars are pretty quick. They're not far off. Yeah, 121.0. Oh, Skipstar got a little bit sideways coming out of the second chicane. That could put a bit of rubbish on his tyres, which might make the two Lesmos a little bit tricky. In the meantime, look at this. We've got 4 cars now, 5 cars, all very close together. I don't think there's much going on for first, second and third. But here we go. So James is being attacked. Oh, sorry. Mike is being attacked by Spotmeyer's going to try and go around the outside into the first chicane. Second chicane. First, Scary, I get there eventually. And he does as well, so let's watch that again. Spotmeyer's pulled off some very nice moves. So look at this, he's on the soft, so Mike's on the hards. But even so, that's a really nice move. Round the outside, Mike just gives him a little bit of a nudge, but nothing too massive. Or great move by Spotmeyer. Love that move. And we've got another manufacturer's pick as well. We'll save that till later. So Daz is already gone. Daz has gone for a Mercedes. That's a very strong choice. So Alex, if you're watching, you are up. And you've got a couple of days to pick as well. Alongside says, Daz says great seeing these cars. Yeah, they do look awesome, don't they? Especially in these liveries. So, Skipstar, after all of that, is still in 4th. James is in 5th. Now, what can Spotmeyer do? The man on the move, he's on his softs. We'll start keeping an eye out for the pit stops, and there he goes. Just got better traction coming out of the first chicane than James in the Lotus. Can James, though, come back at the McLaren as we come into the second chicane? No, he decides to lift. Spotmeyer covers the inside into the chicane. Rides the curves nicely. Very nicely done. James's rear's now starting to go, so he's probably feeling it through some of the traction zones. There's Spotmeyer. Softs are not looking great. He came in. What's it coming in? End of lap 2, lap 2 maybe. So he's done 10 laps on his softs. So they're lasting pretty well though for Spotmeyer, who's pretty good on his tyres. Right, in comes our race leader, who's actually got probably more luck than Judge, but he's actually got a pretty good matching livery for his mechanics for a change. So Chris takes the lead in the Alpha into the first chicane. He goes. So look at his lap times. Where's Matt? Matt comes in. So Matt's doing low 28s. Chris has just done a high 28. So Matt is starting to catch. He's 10 seconds back. He's starting to catch a little bit Chris, but nothing but much in it at all. So our championship winner, he's just come out on another 7 meters. Oh, what happened there? Looks like James got all sorts of sideways. Let's see what happened there. I think, did he leave his braking just a little bit too late? Yes, he did. But he sacrificed himself. I think he was about to run into the back of 4th and 5th. But did the right thing, dived left, and has dropped himself down a little bit. So Spotmeyer is now up to 4th, making good of those softs, so he's going nicely. Skipstar is still soldiering on the hards, but he's still in 5th place, so he's doing a great job. So is Mike as well. He's got himself up to 6th. We go into the second Lesmo. Oh, what's going on there? I've got a few cars. Oh, so we got Carly and Silverstar starting to battle. Oh, no. Every time we go near Silverstar, he spins. Sorry, Silverstar. So Wayne has now moved himself up to 12th now, just on his PB. His rears are looking pretty used now, but he's still going round. And Silverstar, unfortunately, got a bit excited looking to pass Carly. He's in 12, but he's the 13, but he's still looking good. Jack, car still looks amazing. Right, so Chris leads. Back into the low 28s. Going a long way on those mediums. As we go into a very murky Lesmo 1. And then a Lesmo 2, which is a tighter version than it used to be many years ago when it was used for these period of cars. Lesmo 2 was quite a lot quicker. But he's running a bit low on juice, so he'll be in this lap. Matt did a 28.4, so you can see Chris and Matt are pretty even Stevens. Matt's on a PB. Not much between these two. And Chris has obviously just had his stop, gone for mediums as well. Spotmeyer's getting steadily quicker and quicker. He's now done 28.7. Let's see, someone's in the pits. Who's that in the pits? Ah, so the race leader is in the pits. Didn't have much of fuel left. It's quite a short pit lane here, so it should be pretty quick. Let's see what he takes on. And Matt is in as well. There's Matt just entering his pit box. So that's going to put Chris back in the lead. There he goes. And there was also someone else coming out. That's why I have to skip through because I haven't got buttons on this. Who was that who just come out of the pits? No, not Jim. Someone just come out. Not sure. Or someone's sliding it. So it's Carly ahead of Chris, I think. And we've got a battle here between Dan and James. He comes down from the Lesmos under the old banking into Ascari. James tucked up right behind that Alpha. Can he make a move as we go through Ascari into Parabolica, which I think is now called Michele Alboreto, which is a fine name, but it's not as iconic as Parabolica. It's dropped off a little bit from the back. He's on a fresh medium, so he just stopped. Dan is on fresh hards. Dan's just been as well. And they're both going to be promoted. This Jim's coming out. Where is Dan? Here comes Dan, there comes Jim. Just going to get the jump on him. He's got to stay inside that line though. Can he get it stopped as we go into turn 1? Ooh, cold mediums. He does his weird ghosting thing. And Dan is through, so Dan is up to 8th. It looks like James is going to get past Jim as well as we go through Curve Grande. He does. So Jim's got to get those tyres warmed up. Wayne is also in. So what can Jim do against those two in front of him? As we come into the first Lesmos on lap 15 already, so we're almost halfway through the race. Flown past. Right, Skipster is in finally. He's done a brilliant job on his hards. He's gone halfway through. It's interesting to see what he decides to choose. So the fuel will last half a race. Oh, Silver Star looks like he's had another little skirmish. So Chris is leading. Alex is up to second now, so he's out of kill tub. He's up to second. That early stop. Obviously he's going to have to stop again pretty soon. Chris is third, and Matt has dropped off. Yeah, Matt's lost. Oh, he's 18 seconds behind now, so he's lost some more time. Technical problem Matt had at the first chicane has meant he's dropped a load of time to Chris. If we look at Chris's outlap was 2:04, Matt's was 2:12, so Matt's lost another 8 seconds to Chris. Can he make that up? That's going to be a tall order. So Mike is been in and out. He's now on his softs, but he's only half a fuel. So a bit of a splash and dash for Mike here. He's probably going to try and maybe do 2 sets of softs to the end. So he's going to be pretty quick. Matt has also come out on the softs. So he's 3/4 filled. That technical problem he had at turn 1 has probably derailed that plan of his. So he's up to 4th. There's Alex, he's into the 28.7s now, so he's set some pretty cracking lap times on his mediums, but they're starting to wear, and I think he'll be in this lap. getting hunted down by Chris, who's also on his mediums. So we'll keep an eye on that gap between Matt and Chris. Matt's on the softs. And Matt's just done his quickest lap at 27.2. So only a couple of tenths, 3 tenths off the fastest lap. So Matt is charging now. He's down to 2/3 of a tank, so the car's running nice and light. Mike has also done his PB at 28.6. He's got quite a nice gap to Spuntmeyer now, who's been into the pits. Loads of pit stops going on, which we've missed. So Spuntmeyer's on mediums, but he's got probably enough to get to the end. So I imagine Christian is going to go all the way to the end on that tank, on that set of tyres, whereas Mike is going to most definitely have to stop. So he's probably going to have to pull. What are we doing? 7. Pit stop is about 30 seconds, roughly. So he's got to try and pull a big gap. And he's currently about 5-6 seconds ahead. He's on a good PB. Alex is in. Chris goes up to second. Chris Pengelly has got a roughly 24-second lead. He's got a huge lead. Cruising this one as usual. Dominating this season. But Chris has done a 28.7 on his mediums. Matt has now got the fastest lap of the race at 26.8. So he's lapping almost 2 seconds a lap faster than Chris in second. So let's see what happens there. Alex is coming. Oh no, he's not out yet. So Alex is going to the end as well. Brimmed it with fuel. So 1 hard and 2 medium stints for him. Come out in 6th. Not that far behind Sam in the McLaren. And so Alex is in 6th. He's on mediums. Sam is also on mediums going to the end. Then we've got James just coming through the first chicane. He's also on mediums to the end. He's got Dan not far behind him on hards. So James has got past Dan. And we've got Jim on mediums as well. So we'll keep an eye on the gap between 9th and 10th. Let's just see what's going on there. So that's Wayne being lapped. Right, so Wayne's about to be lapped. Right, Silver Star soldiering on in his Ferrari. Yeah, so it looks like Wayne's about to be lapped by Chris in 2nd place. Pulls over nicely, very nicely done. Alright, let's see if any other battles going on. James is on mediums, Dan is on hards as we said. Is Jim closing us down? Looks that way. I think this is probably the closest battle. So that's Wayne. And that's Carly. Carly about to be lapped. So let's go down here. So Jim is now getting onto the back of Dan. So let's go on board with Jim in the Tolman. He could say, my strat in this race was simply did not come last. Well, you're meeting that objective at the moment. Right, so we go through the first chicane. Blue flags come out. That's for a while, yep. The other Tolman is going to lap us, and here comes Jim. You can see the gaps. Pendulum on in these cars, depending on where you change gear. Right, 210 into the second chicane. Oh, late on the brakes, he's got a tyre advantage. We're on the mediums. Danny's on the hards. Into the first Lesmo. I've got Chris behind us just yet. Into Lesmo 2. Can we get a good drive out there? Dan's doing a great job in his Alpha. Just looking back now as we go down the hill under the banking. There it is. So he's back in the 50s and 60s. Tolman closes up as we go into Ascari. Jim's getting close now. He's got the better tyres. I think we're going to get a run. Dan's trying to break the toe. Here comes that Tolman. Are we going to go for a move into Parabolica? I think we are... Oh, where is that? Tolman, there it is. Oh, Jim decided not to go for him. He's going to get a good run out now, but I thought, oh, I think he might have just touched the Hawkers. Thanks to all this, Chris goes blasting past, lapping the pair of them. I bet that gave Chris a lot of, probably the only time his heart rate went above 50. Oh, Dan's gone a bit wide. That might reset him. No, unfortunately, but he's gone wide. And right, so Jim continues on. Right, with this camera angle, that is a mega camera angle. Right, through Curva Grande we go into the second chicane. Variante della Roggia. See the wheel spin as we come out the second chicane, then into the first, the Lesmos. It's a great view. With the apex nicely on the power we go. Into the second Lesmo. The sun coming out as well. Look at that for a shot. Stop and take a photo. Down under the banking we go. And into Ascari. On lap 20 already. Get into third. Ride that tall curve. Cross the curve. Now take the shortest line diagonal, the back straight as we come into Parabolica. The apex is pretty good in on the power, and over the line we go for another lap of Monza. So there we go. Let's have a look what's going on. Oh, was that quite close? Alright, so we got a battle here. So Jim is catching the two in front of him, so Alex is a little bit ahead. So we've got James on mediums, so is Sam. And Jim's a little bit off, so actually that was Chris catching him up. So we got a battle now. It's up for 7th between James and Sam. Sam's got a bit more fuel. We'll see how that plays out. If James is under fueled a bit, he's got the leader behind him, so I'm sure he'll pull over. Let's just see what else is going on. So Mike's doing a nice job. Mike's made it up to 4th now. He's going to have to stop again though. His softs are starting to go. You see his lap times are starting to drop a little bit. He's doing a good job in 4th. Spunkmeyer is... how far is he behind? So Spunkmeyer's about 10 seconds behind. But I'm sure Mike will never do a short fill on softs again, whereas Spunkmeyer will be on medium. So we'll stop around 30-ish seconds, I think. It's a tough ask for Mike to effectively gain probably about 2 seconds a lap. But we'll see, we'll keep an eye on that one. So see what's going on between 2nd and 3rd. Chris is doing now low 28, so he's getting some good lap times like those mediums now. He is going to... So Chris hasn't used his hards yet, so he's not going to the end. He's got to come in for his hards. Matt is now did a 26.2, a 27, and a 27.8. So his times are starting to drop now. Let's see what he does there. He's back in the low 22s, 27s again. As Chris did a 28. So Matt is still coming 2nd a lap, maybe even more. Let's have a look, see what the gap is between 2nd and 3rd. About 7 seconds, so what was about 17, 18 seconds has come down by about 10 seconds. So this soft run by Matt is pulling him in, but Chris is also putting some pretty strong lap times in. He's 2 tenths up on his quickest as he goes through the first Lesmo. Let's just see what else is going on. There's Mike, back to lap Dan. Spunkmeyer. Let's just see what's going on between these guys. So James actually skips us. Obviously he made a small mistake maybe. 32 that lap, not really, but yeah, I think he's made a small mistake. Skipping a bit. That's his name's done a 33.9. Jim's done a 30.6. So Jim is homing down that on that Renault. Going on here. Spunkmeyer is passing, lapping Silverstar, does a very good job in moving over. How's Mike doing? About to come in for his stop. It's about 10 seconds up to Spunkmeyer, so I think Spunkmeyer's going to go into 4th. Let's see, Alex is not that far behind, so Mike, I think, might come out in 6th, but he's going to have low fuel with fresh softs. So in comes the Renault, in comes the Arrows. Also driven, actually no, I thought Slim Borgard drove that car. Siegfried Sturr was another driver who drove that car that year. Right, let's see what Mike does. Yep, he's on the softs as we thought. Alex has gone past, and there he goes into lap 24 already. Where's Mike going? He's not come out yet, but he's probably going to put half a tank in, roughly. Right, Little's GP is in as well. But Chris has done a 27.2 on mediums. That is super strong lap. I think you're 3/10 slower than Matt on his soft. So the Matt's rear left is looking decidedly second hand, so he might well be in this lap. We'll see. Chris is fueling. This will be his hard run, which is probably going to be 7 laps. Yep, 7 laps. So he gets in and out of the pits on his hards before Chris even comes down the pit straight. So there comes Chris to 28.1. So you can see how variable these lap times are. If you don't quite get the car in the sweet spot, you can drop tenths of seconds out of these chicanes. So Chris is still leading. He's on his hards, but he's got a pit stop in hand now over 2nd place. Can he get fastest lap and get pole, win and fastest lap? The elusive treble. Right, so there's Chris coming through, and then we can see Matt just in the background coming into the Lesmo. So Matt did a 26.5 last lap time around, so again pretty variable lap times. So he took a 1.5 seconds out of Chris, and these two have both got to stop again. Chris hasn't used the hards, mind. Neither has Matt. So we're going to get a last lap showdown, maybe. Can Matt get a little bit closer? He's going to be in this lap though, because his left rear is absolutely toasted. Chris has got a bit of a gap, 5 seconds or so. So that soft run has done a good job bringing Matt back in range with Chris. Chris is going to do another lap though, interested. And he's just done a 27.2 as well, so he's getting some really good pace out of that car. He's about to lap. No, he's not about to lap, he's about to catch. So are we going to get a change in lead? So even though Chris is on a different strategy, he's a pit stop behind, potentially he could catch the leader. And to be honest, that's probably not ideal for him, catching the leader, because if Chris is on hards, and look at that, Chris is flying, he's got purple, he's going to actually get held up, ironically, by the leader. Right, Matt is out, short fill on his hards. He's well clear of Spunkmeyer. Spunkmeyer's just coming out of Parabolica. So can Chris take the lead? Looks like Chris has got those hards up to temperature now. They take a few corners. So Chris was, or is, no, that doesn't help us. Give us a running time. Right. He's about, no, it doesn't help either. Can't judge it from that. He's going to get held up by the leader, ironically. So his mediums are worn, he's got a few more laps left, so he's obviously going to try and minimise how many laps he can do on the hards. And look at that, he's going to try and go down the inside of the Parabolica. Oh, Chris gets a bit sideways on his hards. Chris hits him, and that's going to lose them both time. Now, Little's GP won't really care about that, he's got a pit stop in hand, but Chris will. He's just done 28.4. Matt is just coming out the pits on those stone cold hards. Chris won't want too many laps like that. Let's see what else is going on. Spunkmeyer is in a clear 4th. Oh, not clear 4th. Oh, look at this. So Spunkmeyer's on mediums. So he jumped Alex, but Alex is catching him. 29.4, a 31.5, so a little bit of drama there for Spunkmeyer on lap 25, and we've only got 5 laps of this race to go. Look at this, it's actually flown past. So what can Chris do about Spunkmeyer? Can the Beatrice get a decent result? First time in its history. He's getting very close. He's going to try and make a move as he comes in the chicane. He does. That was really low on the brakes. But he's done it. Look at that. A nice move there by the Beatrice Haas driver. That's worth it. Watch again. Let's go back and watch that. They get some really good run out of Parabolica. Nice toe. If we look from the back of the McLaren, here comes the Beatrice, flashes past. And look at that, very nicely done. Got his stop, just ran wide a little bit. But that was very nicely done by Chris. Lovely move there, a long way back. Almost worthy of Spunkmeyer, that one. Alright, so Chris is up, Alex is up to 4th now. So his early stop is paying off. First couple laps on the hards. Didn't get held up by the traffic. Now up to 4th, Spunkmeyer's up to 5th, but he's not too far behind. But you can see the tyres, that's probably what did it. Alex has got the better rears. That's probably the first and only time I'm ever going to say Alex has got a nice rear. Alright, so we got pushed gently. He's in 6th, he's in a bit of traffic. And he's not that far ahead of James. So James is having a good race as well. James has just done his PB. But he has not run the hards, I don't think, so he's going to be in pretty soon. Jim, I think, has run the hards, so he's probably going to inherit 8th. Skipster is down to 9th. I'm not sure what happened to Sam. Obviously had a 42. He's also had a couple of, yeah, 36 and 42. So he's had a couple of bad laps there. He's doing some good pace on the softs. Started really well on the hards. Probably just pushing a little bit too hard now those softs. Dan is in 10th. Looking beautiful in his 1984 Alpha. So on the PB on his softs. Watch him to go through the les modes. Alright, got a bit of what's going on here. So we've still got this battle for the lead, but Chris now is in the pits. So Little's GP on his hards, doing 28, which is a pretty decent lap time on the hards. He's well clear. Let's see what happens with Chris. Matt is just about the 28s as well. And Chris is in the box for his stop. Let's see where he comes out. Out the pits he comes. Matt is just rounding Parabolica, so he's got a decent lead for 2nd over Matt. Let's see what happens, but no, Chris has got the same issue Matt had. There's obviously a issue with the supply of the steering wheel on the Tyrrell and the Alpha. Can Chris soldier on with a steering problem? Matt's not that far behind. We'll keep an eye on that gap. You can see Chris is having to effectively turn the wheel double to get it round the corner, and there's Matt coming through the 2nd chicane, not far behind, so let's keep an eye on that. Let's go back as well. There's a battle going on here between James and Sam. James has just stopped. He's put the hards on, and he's got that Renault right behind him. His Skipster going to try and make a move into the Parabolica. That'll be brave, but he's got the tyre advantage. He's on softs, and he does it. So a big overlapping tyres there. The Renault's got softs. But James is looking for another move. I think he's going to try and get down the inside. Here we go. Sam is trying to break the toe. Sam's on the softs though, so you would think he's got a later braking point. As you can see, does he make the apex? Yes, he does very nicely. We've got the leader behind us, so Sam has made himself up to 7th. Let's see if Jim's dropped off a little bit. Jim's just started. So Jim didn't have the hards. I thought he'd already used the hards, but he hasn't. So he's dropped off a bit now in 9th. Let's just see, can James come back at Sam? I don't think so. Spunkmeyer in the meantime is been passed, I think, by Mike. So Mike's had one of his little stealthy races. He was attacked by Matt in the first chicane, but he's made his way back up to 5th. It's a strong lap times from the Arrows driver. Let's see what's going on between us. So we're on penultimate lap already. Look at this. Penultimate lap, and Chris with his Alien Alpha, which is something that was said a lot that year in 83. He's been caught by the Tyrrell pretty quickly as well. So Matt is on his hard, but doing 28.3s. How does that compare against Chris? So Chris is on the soft. So Chris is now trying to go fastest lap on the last lap. So Chris goes across the line, dominates this one into his last lap. He's going to go to try and get the fastest lap. He had plenty of time in hand. Whereas Chris now has got his hands full of Matt because he's got his hands full with his wheel. He's having to turn double, which makes turning through corners like Parabolica tricky. Let's just see what else is going on. Alex has just done 28.1 on his medium, so he's getting some great pace out of that. He's well clear of Mike. He's not that clear of Spunkmeyer, but I think he's okay. Skips is a little bit behind. So I think they're all fairly spread out. James is trying to attack Jim. There's Dan and Carly and Silver Star and Wayne. Right, so let's have a look then. And we've got his battle. Oh no, what's happened here? Looks like Matt has got past Chris. So let's see what happened here. Chris is struggling to get through that chicane. You can see it. He's having to take a fistful of lock to get through there. Matt gets a good run coming out of the chicane. So we go through Curva Grande. So we're live now. We'll keep an eye on Chris. He's well clear through the Lesmo. So Matt is defending now as we go into the second chicane, but Chris is going to try and go around the outside, and he does. Look at this. Or gives Matt a little tap as they go through the chicane. Chris gets back at him, despite his technical troubles. But Matt is going to try and go around the outside of the Lesmo, which he does. Look at this. So Chris is aiding, but still putting up a grand fight in the Alpha. But Matt is now through for a second. Meanwhile, Chris is coming through Parabolica at 4 the last time to finish season 8 with a bang, taking the win in the final endurance race. So well done, Chris, and gets the fastest lap to boot at 25.8 on the last lap. So well done, gets the trio, the trilogy. Looks like Matt is going to get second. Battle of the Alien Fanatechs, these two. So Matt goes into Parabolica for the last time. Chris, you can see he's struggling to get the car turned, so Matt fights his way up to second. They'll be pleased with that. Gives a pit wall wave. Chris gets a great third as well, so cracking battle between those two. Here comes Alex, who's getting quicker and quicker. He's just done a 28.0, so brilliant 4th place from Alex. Alternative strategy. Did really well there. So well done, Alex. Here comes Mike. Mama's like saying nice. Yeah, that was a good race. So Mike comes into the penultimate, the last corner. What have we got here? Anything going on? No. So Mike is going to finish a 5th. We already had some finishes, so we'll get to them. So Mike, a good finish in 5th. He's happy with that. Here comes Spunkmeyer in 6th. Nicely done for him. So, just to finish the order, 7th was Sam, getting back up to 7th, but he did well. Jim was 8th. James was 9th. Dan was 10th. And we haven't seen finishes yet, so let's watch Carly come round Parabolica, only just ahead of Silver Star. So, good battle between those two. At the end, Carly gets 11th. Jack gets 12th. And then round the final lap comes Wayne. See much of him. Kept it on the island. There we go. So that was our last round. Round 8. If I go to, let's see if I can bring up the scores. So let's run through the finishing order, and then we'll bring up the final scores of the championship. Let me find where they are. Come on, you. Let's go to that. So, winner of the last round, as he has done numerous other rounds in this championship, runaway winner for the title, Chris Bengelli, Little's GP in his Tolman, gets first place. Well done, Chris. Got pole and fastest lap in qualifying, and he got the fastest lap as well. Right, let me get to the championship tables. All right, and drop scores as well. Don't forget, there's 8 rounds, and each driver can drop their worst score. And then I didn't mention the teams. The teams are super close as well. So in the teams championship, there was first and second up for grabs. Then third, fourth, and fifth and sixth were very close actually. So third to sixth was super close. So we'll see how that all played out. So our winner tonight was Little's GP, and second was Matt, fighting back in the Tyrrell, getting second on the last lap from Chris. Both of them suffering from the same technical problem. Matt's was early in the race and he stopped to reset, whereas Chris gamefully soldiered on in his Alpha. So he finished third, so good race from him. Let's see how that played out, because Chris was in the battle with Spontmeyer for third in the championship. So let's see how that played out. Chris was third, Alex was fourth. So a great strategy from him, coming back from his first couple laps on the hards. And Mike finished a good fifth after his first lap being pushed off on the second chicane, fought back to fifth. Spontmeyer was sixth. That's a rubbish view. Can we get better? Oh, let's do that one. That's a nice view. All right, so Skipster was seventh in his Alan Prost Renault. And Jim was eighth in his Senna's Tolman. Ninth was James in his Senna's Lotus. So lots of Senna cars on tonight. Dan was 10th in his Alpha. Carly was 11th in the Benetton. 12th was Jack in his Ferrari, and 13th was Wayne. So in the Drivers' Championship, as we know, Little's GP won it with a round to spare. Matt finished second, also with a round to spare. And then the battle between Chris and Spunkmeyer. So Chris missed a round, so he's actually got 2 drop rounds. He scored in 6 races. And the gap was 1 point with Chris taking it. So Chris gets a third place in the championship despite not doing 7 rounds. So great championship from Chris. We'll see how he goes in season 9. So Chris gets third in the championship by 1 point, heartbreakingly, from Christian on fourth, but still a great result from Christian in his debut into DTCC. Then fifth in the championship was Alex. He scored he wasn't far adrift actually so third and fourth were 275, 274, and then fifth was Alex with 265. So pretty close, only 10 points between third and fifth. And sixth in the championship was Dan. He scored 242, so again pretty close. Then seventh in the championship was Mike on 228. Then eighth was Daz, who unfortunately couldn't make this round, on 204. Then Carly finishing ninth. There's Carly with 190, just ahead of James, who was 10th. Then we had Jim in 11th. He missed a few rounds. Wayne in 12th. Let's find Wayne. And then Jack in 13th in his Ferrari. That's a good shot. And then 14th was Sam, who missed half the races. So still a good result from Sam. And then in the teams championship, we had Little's GP and Jack winning for T&H Racing. They had 520 points, not far ahead of Matt and Wayne. Little Tykes Racing with 490. So pretty close for first. And then third was won by 5 points by Grrr, which is James and Chris. So well done to those. They beat DS Squared Racing, which is Dan and Darren. I had to think about that, by only 5 points. So what's that? 1% difference in score between those two. JM Racing was fifth, only 11 points behind them, so very close in the teams, followed by James and Christian and Sam and Mike. So that was season 8 of DTCC. I hope you enjoyed that. We will be back very soon for season 9. As I said, the draft is going on as we speak, and there's been some more picks which I can say live. So we are up to, let's have a look. So we know Dan went for Nissan, and Daz has gone for Mercedes. So a very solid pick from him as well. That's a very good car, one of the best. So we've got Alex. So Alex has got 2 nights to pick his car. So we'll see what Alex decides to go for. And then after Alex, we've got Christian, Chris, Matt, and Chris. So only 4 left. So we will see you very soon. That season kicks off. Let me check. Should know this. So we got test race 1 and 2. So the first test race is next Wednesday. Not this coming Wednesday, but next Wednesday, 24th. Then we got another test race on the 1st of May, which I might stream. In fact, I probably will because they're good fun. And then the first official race is the 8th of May at Laguna Seca. So lots to look forward to. It won't be long before we have some more racing for season 9. Can anyone stop Little's GP? That is the question. Hope you enjoyed that. We will see you very soon for, I didn't want to do that, for round 1 of season 9. Thank you for joining. Thanks for everyone for watching the races this season, and we will see you very soon.